Whoa, what's that? That's a whole new thing I've never seen before. What's up, internet? What's going on? Hopefully nothing's looping and doing anything weird, because I just got a notification that something weird is going on. So I guess you guys in the chat will let me know if something's wrong, but we shall find out, I guess, if something's wrong. I don't know. Okay. Candy just popped in and said, wow, an actual aquarium related commercial. I like that. It's good to hear that there's an aquarium related commercial, if it's gonna play a commercial at the beginning, right? What's going on? My phone is blowing up. What's happening? Oh, it's telling me that we're live, and Shrimp Shack Joe is messaging me about something. All right, what's up, everybody? Good to see you. It sounds like everything is all good on everybody's end. I don't know, so I had some weird software thing pop up over here and tell me, beware, you might be looping. So I guess I figured I'd be like, oh, well, I better ask, because as you guys can tell, I don't have any headphones on. I can't tell what's going on, if anything is looping or not, you know? So, but let's get on with the show. Let's get on with the show. You know, it's a Monday, so we got to remember that it's Monday. How was everybody's weekend? My weekend was super easy because, let's be honest, the Seahawks had played on Thursday, so they'd already won. So we already had a winning weekend, you know what I mean? We already had a victory in our pockets. Oh my gosh, I forgot my coffee. This is unbelievable. I just looked around over here and realized I don't see any coffee. I don't see my coffee. Hello? Hello? Oh my. I wonder if I could call Vicky and see if she'll bring me my coffee. That would be kind of the lamest thing to do to her. Like, hey, bring me my coffee while I'm in here, you know? So maybe I'll just run away and act like the doorbell rang and get my coffee. I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll be all right, though. But decent weekend. You know, we're here with the brand new baby. Oh, baby Olivia. To those of you that don't know what her name is yet, it's Olivia Jean, which her middle name is a tribute to my family, you know. And so, yeah. But Olivia's doing quite well, I have to say. We got past the little jaundice scare, which I don't know if any of y'all are parents out there. You go through that little jaundice phase where they start to get worried, and they're like, oh man, she might have jaundice. And, you know, I'll try to keep this PG as possible, but hey, she started pooping a lot. So, jaundice, all good. Is she all good now? We didn't have to do any kind of light therapy or any of that kind of stuff. But we were just doing a little bit of vitamin D for her. So, and that seems to have worked out real well. So, I guess baby narrowly averted. I will say she was super cranky this morning. And so I've been up. This guy right here basically hasn't had a whole lot of sleep, which is fine. So if I do go on to weird tangents and stuff like that, just a heads up, it is probably because lack of sleep and taking care of that baby, you know. So, you know, bear with me, you guys. I know y'all are super patient and super awesome oceaneers, so it shouldn't be a problem. But I figure, hey, throw a disclaimer on there. Steve's saying that he can't believe the Bears beat the Vikings. That was a weird game, I will admit. I watched the first half, and it was just like, this game is weird. But I will say, the the Bears do have quite an offense. I will admit, some way, you know, they have quite the offense, and but they don't look like a team that's going to make a big run in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, not a big deal. Not a big deal to me. You know what I mean? Not a big deal to me. Who said that the Packers lost? Somebody was upset. Steve was not cool on that Green Bay loss. Yeah, well, it also was fortuitous. You know, I mean, Green Bay just doesn't. They don't have their team's not stacked enough to deal with the Seahawks at this point. Honestly, if you just kind of look at injuries and that kind of stuff. So, but I was happy the Seahawks get back to 500 and you know, so that honestly that made the weekend kind of a little bit easy because I could just watch football and not really care, which is always good. Meat Man is here. Said evenings, everybody. Good to see you. Daryl Deemer's here. Turbo Fish. Carp Blood River. Congrats on the baby. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Congratulations. I didn't really do much. I do the dad stuff, honestly. You know, my work's coming later. Well, I mean, I'm working hard now or whatever, but my work's going to be coming later. You know, I have a lot of things to do. I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be very busy. Rednecks Aquatics, would a 125 tank be too big of a sump for a 210-gallon tank, considering making my own sump? No, I would say that's fine. Personally, if I was going to do a sump on a 210, a 125 would be a candidate for me, honestly. I would definitely give you enough space to do kind of whatever you wanted to with the 210. You know, that's one of the big things about running a sump is, you know, you're definitely going to get a lot of filtration. You're not going to have equipment in the tank. And on top of it, you get a pretty good increase of water volume. So, you know, a 210 with a sump running on it, you know, obviously proportionally isn't that big of a deal, but probably take you up to 270 gallons, which is kind of helpful if you do want to overstock, especially all those cichlid guys out there that want to do a ton of cichlids and stuff. That's definitely one of the old school freshwater cichlid tank tricks is that you could take something like a 90-gallon and put a 90-gallon sump underneath it and be able to have, you know, a nice overstocking in a tank and go like, well, I've actually got more water volume than you think. So, you know, because cichlid tanks are pretty much, you know, they're pretty much hamstrung by the thing, by most of the action and the entertainment and what's there in the tank is reliant on what are the fish up to. You know what I mean? So, as you guys know, I don't personally keep cichlid tanks myself. They've never really been my thing, but they've always been very popular, so I've definitely been around a lot of them, that's for sure. Let's see. This guy's talking about video games. Somebody was asking about crystal shrimp with CO2. Where did that go? I gotta read. John Gonzalez was asking, has anybody done CO2 with crystal shrimp? Yes, for sure. I have. I can literally say for years and years I did all those crystal shrimps, and I did CO2 injection in the tank. It is almost never a problem. You just want to make sure that you are maintaining, you know, that level of pH that you want. It definitely helps out to keep your pH down a little bit during the day, but you do want to make sure that you're maintaining overnight so you're not getting these crazy pH swings. So that's going to be the main consideration that you're going to have to, you know, bear in mind with, that you're going to have to look for and keep an eye on. Brian's Fish Tanks is in the chat here. He actually bought a bunch of my crystal shrimp back in the day because I was raising them with CO2 so that he could basically just buy some that were aquacultured in a CO2 tank and then just be like, hey, I'm going to rock these. So, and I, you know, finally got to go to his fish room this year, and we discussed that a little bit, and he was like, yeah, man, they've been doing great, and it worked great. So, hey, I guess I guess if you don't want to take my word for it, I guess take Brian's word for it, I guess. Or something. I don't know. Maybe the combined word maybe would help. So I don't know. Savannah says sad about some of the injuries during a week 11 game. Some of them were really brutal. Oh, yeah. So back in NFL for just a second here. Week 11, 12, 13 is normally when you see the big injuries. Fatigue. Fatigue starts to set in. This is that real hard stretch of the season. So yeah, you definitely do see a lot of the injuries like Alex Smith. But Shannon Hill says, have anyone here heard of the Aquarium Co-op? Maybe. Yeah, if you guys don't know, this show is brought to you in part by the Aquarium Co-op. If it would be remiss for me to say that he's not a sponsor. He definitely is a sponsor. We don't go crazy with making an ad or anything like that, but you know how it is. Let me see. I got my link right here. Hold on a second. Where did it go? Where did the filters one go? Jeez Louise. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll send you guys to the plants page. That'll be fine. Let's see. Copy. Paste. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of the Aquarium Co-op and them being a sponsor and stuff, there's the affiliate link right there. And right now, they currently, and Candy's got it too. So right now, currently, they have a sale on filter stuff. So speaking of sumps and all that kind of stuff. And then here's the code. BF Filter 20 is the code for 20% off, like the sponge filter intakes, all that kind of stuff. And if you guys use my affiliate link, I get a slight kickback or whatever. It's good to let Corey know that you'd be like, hey man, I like the Aquarium Co-op too, but I'm also an oceaneer, so I just want to give mad respect to my boy. And then it just would let him know. You know what I mean? Plus, I do have to admit that there's a little bit of a competition this week and, or this month. And, I'd like to win it. I don't know if I'm going to, but, it's always good to hey, if you want to support your bro, you could support your bro. You know what I mean? Let's see. B. Anderson is wondering, is Real Fish Talk ever going to happen again? Yeah, it'll happen at some point in time. When that is, I don't know. I don't know when it'll be. We don't have anything scheduled right now. We are essentially, we're kind of beholden to the idea right now that we'll probably do Real Fish Talk when somebody's in town. So, we really want to. And just to be real honest, it wasn't really successful enough for us to just keep it going forever, ad nauseum, with, Corey and I just talking about tacos and stuff like that all the time. We're both really busy. We're both really busy. And, that's basically what it boiled down to, is that we had to prioritize our projects. And, Corey and I are definitely working on a bunch of other projects, so I wouldn't be too worried about lack of content coming from him and I and us together and stuff like that. So I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry too much. Twin Cities Guppies, what's up, Kang? How you doing? He says, who's in town? Nobody's in town right now that I know of. Maybe somebody's in town and no one told me and whatnot. But Preston was here. And so some people are mentioning aquariums of the future, just water floating in the air without a tank and cabinet. I said aquariums of the future today because in the title, mainly because I wanted to talk about some of the new fish that are here. And you know what? If I titled the video, "New Fish, Come Check It Out, It's Hot and Fresh," I don't know. That feels like a little clickbaity to me or whatever. And then a lot of people come in and they're like, oh man, you know, this is a live stream. I wanted to see a fish. And I'd be like, well, the fish is going to be later. And so, you know, it feels like just a little too clickbaity to me and get a lot of people walking in the door and to be like, this is not for me. And, you know, we don't want to disappoint those people. We just want to let those people do their own thing, right? We don't want to like upset them. We don't want to make them upset. That's counterintuitive to what we like to do around here. We like to help each other out. We're trying to build a community and just grow the community and stuff like that. L Flower 1 stars. Will Aquarium Co-op ever do chain fish stores? I don't think so. I really don't. If you had to ask me, my take on that would be like 100% probably not. Which I throw the probably not in there as for a good reason, because you never know. You know what I mean? Like if I don't know, just this silly hypothetical situation, something crazy could happen, and then it'd be like, well, I guess you got to do that now. But I know it's not. I know it's not the intention of the business or anything of Corey's business, not my business. I know it's not his intention, just from knowing him personally, to be doing anything like chain stores or anything like that. Because I know just it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to do. So, but you know, you always can just go online. I think the big thing that he might do someday, and I say might, I don't know, is just being able to consider some of the more international stuff. You know, to be able to help out some of the international market, I think is probably something that he would do long term. And one of the reasons I say that is because he was I know that he put out like a Teespring so that like international people could get T-shirts. You know, so I know that it's something that's on his mind, and it's also something that he's actually doing. That's, you know, you can see that in the public, right? You know, and check that out. C&H Aquarium says, can anyone attend the AGA, the American Gardeners Association convention? Yes, anyone can attend. Anyone can go. I was looking at the tickets and all that kind of stuff. Candy Overhaul says, me. What? What's Candy? What? I don't know. Candy's... Oh, the other Joel. There's so many Joels here. It's hard to keep track. But good to see Joel also. CNH is asking, can anyone attend the AGA convention? Yeah, that's May 3rd through the 5th, I think. It's like the first weekend. It's going to be out here right near me. It's not going to be far at all from where, you know, and I think Corey's one of the platinum... He's one of the platinum sponsors. I think he might have a booth or something fun like that. I'm not 100%. I don't know. And you know, I'm looking forward to it. I really am hoping to be able to do a big project for it. As you guys know, I spend all my money on my house, food for the baby and all that kind of stuff, and production of videos. This week has been a brutal week of replacing some equipment and stuff. So, numbers aside, not a big deal, but you know, I got a good opportunity to get the new Zion Weebill, I think that's how you say it. The gimbal, the new gimbal that came out, and super stoked to have gotten it. I got a really good deal on it because I was able to place a pre-order with the company, but I did realize it kind of put the wallet a little threadbare, and I did break a lens, so I had to I had to order a new lens today, and was fun. So I don't even think there's going to be a good story behind it, because it's like it's the stupidest thing ever. I basically left a lens sitting out. and ruined it like an idiot because I figured it'd just be safe on my desk, and nope. Just have to remind myself that nothing is safe on my desk. But hey, you know, them's the breaks sometimes. Not a big deal. But as you guys know, I put all my money into, you know, making new videos and stuff like that. As you guys know, we got the new 120s. I'm hoping you guys like some of the new videos coming out. There will be, you will be getting smashed with 120 videos here over the next like week and a half. So hopefully you guys are enjoying those videos. Hopefully maybe the production quality is a little bit better. I don't know what to say about that. I think it's a little bit better. I think we've improved our game a little bit. We're just going to keep improving, but yeah, I would say there's a lot of good content that I would consider to be good content coming out over, you know, the next week and a half and stuff like that in regards to those 120s. The sumps are getting up and running, and getting all that stuff together has been pretty fun. But the reason I bring that up was in regards to the AGA is that the American Gardeners Association is hosting a convention here, and I was thinking about footing the bill for to do a project at the AGA, and I don't think I can do it now. I don't think that I can swing it. So I'm trying to get a company to basically like sponsor it. So I don't know. We shall see. We shall see how it goes, if I can get them to sponsor it or not. I think only like 1,500 to 2,000 people are going to watch this live stream. So I don't feel like I'm really spoiling it for anybody. But I want to do something that would be a really big like raffle giveaway. So that's basically what I want to do for that, even though I didn't explain it. But I think you guys might be able to figure it out, be able to give away something. But yeah, I just basically want to do a 0 point of entry raffle giveaway. You know what I mean? Like, you just can go in and, like, if I don't know, you can just get raffle tickets. I don't know. Then again, I guess if somebody like just gets them for free, or maybe just get them at the door. I don't know, something like that. Or maybe you just have to like fill out a thing or something like that. I don't know. And just make sure that like not the same people just get all of them, right? Twin Cities Guppy says, I'm going to need you to come help build my expansion fish room. I would love to do that, King. 100%. If you get it scheduled and stuff like that, and it's something I can come out and do, I would 100% love to come do that. So keep me posted on what's going on. Maybe we don't want to try and build it in the snow if it's outside at all. But I would love to be able to come out there for like 3 or 4 days and really help you guys hammer that thing out. If that's possible. We'll see how it goes though. My day rate's only like $6,000, you know, so it's not a big deal, right? For like, you know, if you're Lamborghinis and like Denali on the reg, right? then it's not a big deal, right? Gone Mad, shout out to Iris. It's her birthday. Cue the birthday song. Oh, we got to do a happy birthday. We got to do a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Iris. Yeah. I don't think that one's copywritten if I sing it like that, right? But if I do the like, happy birthday, I think Marilyn Monroe or Marilyn Manson comes out of the ground and they come out of their grave and then they're like, it's copywritten. and then I get like demonetized, and then YouTube's even more mad, right? Is that how that goes? I think that's how it goes. I don't know. speaking of YouTube being mad, you know, hey, if you haven't been over to the Patreon, if you haven't been there before, I'm going to post a link here. And you could go over there. I had to refresh it, double check. We were at 278 Oceaneers. We're now down to 277 Oceaneers. 277 people totally kicking ass and helping out with like from $1 a month all the way up to, you know, the fishy mailman who is just like a producer of this show basically. And you know, it's a monthly charge, once a month, right at the end of the month, so it's easy to keep track on the first. And that's how we crowdsource. It's how we crowdsource being able to fund paying for super expensive internet. You know, just paying for all the stuff that goes into it. Microphones, a new audio deck that I had to replace the other one that was just killing us. But you know, that's just how we're funding it around here. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody out there, and a big thank you to the future people, and a big thank you to the people that were even temporary. You know what I mean? Like, it is awesome. I very much appreciate you guys. Even if you're somebody that can only do it for like once a month or do 1 month or something like that, it really is amazing. So I'd like to say thanks to you guys, and you know, we're starting to come up on the end of the year here. And it's amazing. It's amazing to sit here and go, like, we're coming up on 2019. We got a ton of cool stuff coming up in 2019. We did so many cool things this year, and we're just going to keep that momentum going, right? And I just, you know, I mentioned it. I mentioned this like the last live stream. I'm just like, I'm knee deep in my gratitude right now. Some of you out there that have followed for a long time know that. And I've mentioned this before. I've been sober for 4.5 years, 4 3/4 years or something like that now. And the one thing that's been hanging on has been tobacco use, which is, I will say, it's terrible, and it's not good. But I'm definitely down to almost 0 now. So it's pretty phenomenal, but I'm knee deep in my gratitude list because of that. You know, I'm basically doing some of my step work and making sure I'm like, got to think about my things that I'm doing on the reg. And one of them is, you know, paying attention to things that I'm grateful for, and my gratitude list. And, you know, it's really amazing to just be like, to just look back like just 2 years ago and go like, man, where was I at 2 years ago? And go, oh, man, we're like light years beyond. We're like light years beyond the point where we were at even 2 years ago, let alone if you dig deep, into the old YouTube stuff and go like, where was I at 6 years ago, 8 years ago, stuff like that. So it's amazing, and I just want to say thanks. And I'm just in this. I'm in this gratitude. You know what I mean? Foster's Fish, well done, sir. It's hard to kick the sticks. I still do the vape salts. Yes, I got my vape nash here. I got my vape nash. If you've never seen the Vape Nation video, you should go watch that. It is hilarious. So yeah, I am vaping. You know, and that's definitely helping out, and chewing gum, basically. So it's going really well. It's going really well at this point. So not stressing about it, but I wanted to relate to you guys like why I'm constantly thinking about the gratitude and stuff all the time. It's and that's one of the reasons I keep bringing that up and just going like, man, 2 years ago is when I just kind of said, screw it. I'm just going to go full time and do my best at doing this full time and see how it goes. And it's just amazing to see where we're at this point. But I am desperately behind on Super Chat here. So let me get this. $5 Super Chat from Brendan's Life. Brendan's Life. Sorry, I don't want to say Brandon. I want to say Brendan, my guy. What would you use for saltwater quarantine? I am setting up a coral quarantine and a fish quarantine, and I was wondering what you use for each. Well, Okay, first of all, coral quarantine, I do not do. I do coral dip. So I will dip my corals when I get new corals and stuff. I will dip them because it is way easy to do. It's a lot easier to do a coral dip than a coral quarantine. Watching a coral for 2 to 4 months. 2 to 4 months or however long you're going to watch a quarantine versus a 6-minute coral dip. I've very rarely have ever seen any problem come from, doing a coral dip and adding it into a system. Does that mean it's infallible and perfect? No, I don't think that it is, but it just so rare. It's so rare that I ever seen a coral dip coral bring anything into any system that I'm just never worried about it. So my quarantine for corals is I just dip them, drop them in the tank. Boom. Pretty easy. Not a big deal. Saltwater fish. Now, saltwater quarantine is like, it's one of two things. First things first, if I can get a store to quarantine my saltwater fish, like before I get them, I'll go that route. And, one of those things is that they, what's the word? What happened here? Yeah. Oh, if a store will quarantine them for me, it'll go pretty good. And not that big of a deal or whatever. But if I can get the store to do it, I'll do it that way. But the quarantine for saltwater fish, if I'm going to bring them home, is exactly the same way that I do freshwater. So I basically just set up a tank with the mature saltwater that I have. So if I was going to buy some saltwater fish, I would set up some mixed water first so that I'd be able to do, I would basically do a water change after I got them, because I would bring, I'd get out like a 20-gallon tank, set it up with a little filter, just a little hang-on back, like a, oh yeah, here we go. Shameless plug. Like a AquaClear hang-on back filter that's on sale at the Aquarium Co-op right now. 20% off if you use that filter. Blah blah blah. Yeah. No, I actually do use AquaClear filters. I actually have one running in my fish room right now, believe it or not. I've got my killifish in a little quarantine tank. I'm just letting them basically just chill out in their own spot and breed. So this is the only kind of breeding project that I have, is those little killifish, and they seem to be doing well. They're throwing fry and stuff, and some of them are getting eaten, and it's it's not that bad. But I do actually use the AquaClear filters, and one of the reasons I use the AquaClear filters is I still have some, is for the quarantine tanks. So I basically just bust that out, fill it up, set up a little filter on it, put a heater in it, and then I just dose, ICX and that kind of stuff, and quarantine the fish and see how they do. And then after about 2 weeks is when I'll add them into the main display tank. So the quarantine's the same. It's just essentially a really good period of, you can feed them in a tank by themselves, get them acclimated, make sure that they're not bringing any diseases in. It totally sucks when you have a freshwater tank get a problem from not quarantining your fish, but, it's way worse in a coral situation, because that could just be a ton of money. You could have 10 grand in a coral tank pretty easily in just livestock. So that can be really upsetting. Ginger Graves with a $5 super chat. Congratulations, one day at a time. Yes, it's always one day at a time. It's right now at a time. I know I'm like rambling and getting weird, and I lost my coffee, so I don't even know. Elisa's Pets with a 10 euro super chat. Whoa. So creeping in the background while I do a late night water change. Love the show. Well, thank you. The show's super rambly today. I didn't even write down any notes on what I was going to talk about, and then we're just here. We're just freewheeling it today. We're going nuts. That's all right. I realized I completely forgot to explain what I was on about as far as the tanks of the future. I think I started talking about it, and then I got sidetracked by something else. I don't know. But the tanks of the future, the reason why I titled it that is because I didn't want to title it New Fish and then have people come in that would be like, where's the new fish? And then they get mad because it's a live stream. So I will just tell you guys what the new fish are, and I'm going to give you guys a second, and I want to see who can figure out what the new fish are while I answer a quick question from Preston John. Who he was asking, what did he ask? He's asking this quick question here of what are the normal live stream times? The normal live stream times, if you guys have been over to the Patreon page, that's generally where I keep that stuff refreshed and posted. Supposedly, we are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's the West Coast in the United States. That's where I live. That's where I live. Right? So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, depending on what time it is in your neck of the woods. For me, it's the afternoon, and for you guys, it's the other whatever time it is for you. So you might have to do a little bit of math. I think I'm -8 GMT. I think it might be different now because daylight savings time kicked in. Well, Bentley Pascal was asking, and he was completely cheating because he probably already knows what was going on. So that's kind of cheating, Bentley. You can't really... I like Eric, though. Salt and pepper corridorus. I like it. No, but actually, Bentley got it right. The Scootin' Fruity Puffers. How is it? Oh, man. I have to look at it. I have to look at it and make sure. So when I read it out loud. Hold on. I should have probably had this up ahead of time. Shouted Denny. Scouta Denny. Shouted Denny. Scouta Denny. Scouta Denny Puffers. We've got Scootin' Fruity Puffers in the 240. Scootin' Fruity Puffers are here. They're here. They're on the premises. And I'm very excited. They are cool. And they're doing great. After all that talk about quarantining, there really wasn't any way for me to quarantine these fish. Also, was going to be a monumental. I feel like it was going to be a big problem with quarantining these fish too. So I'm fingers crossed. These fish are about $300 a piece retail. So there's 3 there, about $1,000. They got in the tank. One of the things with the Scootin' Fruity Puffers, you have to wet net them, basically. So you have to cup them. You have to get them. You can't just net them with a net. You run way too much of a chance to damage them. So I did have to float them and drop them in. But Preston brought them. He basically bagged them up in the morning, flew up here on a plane, and they were in my tank by the evening. So kind of the best situation. They're basically coming straight out of a healthy tank where they're breeding a really rare type of fish like that. So I just kind of got my fingers crossed that I didn't accidentally do something that could be really, really screwed up. You know, and it's just, I really end up kind of making this face like, oh man, did I just shoot myself right in the foot? I don't know. But it just kind of is what it is. Like, they basically came out of his tank. He flew him straight here. And, you know, it's one of those things that, like, if I'd gotten a fish from Bentley and bagged it up at his place and brought it up here, you know, I probably wouldn't have quarantined it, coming from a person that I know, and them being aquacultured and all that stuff. You know, over the last 2 days that I've had them, they are showing no signs of any problems. They're eating really well. They acclimated into that tank just fine. I had, you know, pH, water parameters, temperature, all that stuff was just exactly where I wanted it to be. So, you know, we're literally at a fingers crossed kind of thing. So I just kind of had to bite the bullet on this one, because I didn't really have any other tank that would have ever wanted to house them long term. So I really could have, you know, and considering, you know, Preston's generosity of, he basically gave me 3 of these fish. So I wanted to put them into my healthiest system, that is a system that's already established and ready for them, with a lot of food in it. And, you know, with all the snails and shrimp and everything that are populated in there like crazy. They got fat little bellies. They're doing quite well, and that's going to be their kind of long-term home. They won't eat the rummy nose. They won't eat the bristle nose that are in there, or the apistos that are in there, but you gotta, you know, it's one of those things. Just gotta kind of roll the dice once in a blue moon, and hopefully it doesn't turn into like I end up having to tell myself I told you so. But I'm hoping that it's gonna work out fine. It's just, you know, honestly, sometimes situationally, you just kind of got to go with what you got. You know what I mean? And just kind of go the route that you got to go. So, and you know, everything else has been healthy in there, other than I'm dealing with like, oh, I can even show you the tank. I actually have some video. Oh, wrong one. This one. Here we go. So I can actually show you the tank today. You know, so here's how the tank looks today. I am battling a little bit of algae in here and stuff like that, and the main reason for that is I'm not dosing properly at this point in time because of the baby is here. So I am battling a little bit of algae, and but other than that, the tank is just a monster and doing really well. So sometimes you got to roll the dice. Sometimes, you know, and I don't know. I don't recommend it because it is stressing me out. It is super stressing me out at this point. So, you know, let's just hope that this is a good story and it's not like a horror story at any point in time. Speaking of horror stories, there will be a video out tomorrow if you guys are excited to see some kind of horror story from me, because, you know, we basically took all the old footage and decided that we'd just go ahead and make it public so it could be seen. And yeah, you know, go that route. But Candy just posted the code and the link for the sale at the co-op. I would remind you guys that the filter sale, so like those pre-filter sponges, whatever power filters he's got, biological media, all that kind of stuff. If you guys are waiting to get some of that, that is this week, and I think it ends like kind of prematurely, like on Thursday. So I would certainly get on it if it's something that you guys wanted to get in on, because that part's not lasting that long. So if there's any filter stuff that you guys need to get, I'd go ahead and grab that. Burp. 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 Weird noises during the stream. Trying to find myself some questions here in the chat real quick. Don't even know where my coffee is. It's super sad. Frank Dominguez, 158 watching and only 43 likes. Come on now, hit that like button. Should we do a like spike? Should we do that today? Should we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Hit that like button. right? Is that how that goes? It's goofy. Oh man, my purple toothbrush is showing up in the video. Yeah, you guys will get a chance to see me clean a little bit of hair algae that's popping up. You know, like I said, one of the things with this is that I'm just got a brand new baby, and I'm not exactly doing the maintenance that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not exactly dosing my Easy Green the way I'm supposed to be doing, you know, because as you guys know, that's the fertilizer I use at this point. It's realistically, you know, that's how it goes. Oh, man, was there somebody at the door? Oh, man, somebody at the door. Oh, man, is somebody at the door? There's somebody at the door. Oh, dude, there was totally somebody at the door, and they had my coffee. Weird. All right. Oh, sweet nectar of life, my coffee. I got my coffee. Got my coffee. All right. Tyler Click Scales. Clink Scales. It's an interesting last name, my friend Tyler. How you doing? Says, if you had to use RO water for guppies, how would you remineralize that water? And your streams are the best. Well, I don't know if they're the best, but they're getting better, so that's good, right? I think that's 100% like what the goal is here. I don't think mine are the best, but they're getting better, and I plan on continuing to make them better and better. And I got some secrets, y'all. I got some secrets to continue making it better, and I just can't wait till I get the new office built. Working on electrical down there right now, and a new washer and dryer situation. We're going to be putting in a new washer and dryer, and well, I've got a lot of you here, and hold on. I'm going to answer... Sorry, Tyler, I'm going to answer your question here instead of just rambling on about nonsense. If I had to remineralize, basically what I do with remineralizing these days, I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, but I find it to be the more economical way to do it. And hold on a second, I have to find it. Let me find you the link so that I'm not like just leaving you high and dry. Realistically, what I do now is, so this is, let me see. There's the large one. Okay, I have to make sure I get the large one because that's the one that I use. Let me stick this in here so you guys can have a link. I can't post like full-size links anymore because they don't let me because they're weird. Okay. Here we go. Boom. There we go. Okay, so there's a link for you, Tyler. That's how I remineralize, and it's with a product called Wonder Shell. It looks like it's from 1972 because it probably is from 1972. It looks like that shell soap that your grandma would have sitting on her bathroom counter with like some real shells mixed into it and like some sand and some kind of weird seashell thing in your grandma's bathroom. You know what I mean? That's what it looks like. It pretty much has all the stuff that I'm looking for, and I'm not going to say it's time released, but it does take a while to dissolve. So today I did a big water change on the 240. As you guys know, the new puffers are in there, and I'm having to do some water changes just to be super hyper paranoid. So I add one of these large ones in when I do a water change, because I do about 100-gallon water change out of the 300-something gallons that are in that system. I do about a 33% when I do it. I'll add a Wonder Shell down into the sump, and that'll help kind of remineralize anything there for my shrimp, for my snails, for all that stuff. And it's a really like a one-step process because, like I said, it will just break down over like a 4 or 5 day period. So it's not like dumping a bunch of liquid in or dumping a bunch of powder in and it's already in there. So I find that to be like just way easier. And if any of this stuff, if I can find a good product that saves me a ton of time, then yeah, I'm 100% on it, and I'm gonna use it. And you know, with just how cheap the Wonder Shell is, it I find it to be really economical because like $4 twice a month, that's easy. That's easy to me. I'm like, yeah, fine. That's cool, you know, because I would spend way more than that on any of the other remineralizing type stuff. Or even if I was doing crushed coral, then I have like a big bag of crushed coral lying around. That is an easier, or that is maybe like in the long run, that's a cheaper, more effective, you know, maybe it's a more effective way of adding some hardness and stuff to your water. It definitely is a route to go. But it drives me crazy when I have a bag of crushed coral that's like just open. You know what I mean? So I don't find it to be saving me money or saving me headaches because just a bag of crushed coral around will drive me nuts, you know? So that's why I use the Wonder Shell in it, and it works out pretty good. It works out pretty darn good. I'm really happy with it on a regular basis. Let's see what we got here. We got text coming in. Oh, thank you, Eric. Oh, I better text him back. Thank you, bro. I said thank you, boy. B-O-I. I said like, he was a skater boy. He said see you later, boy. Or something like that. Right? How's that go? And Joe said thanks. Joe said thanks because I was sending him links to... actually, this is a link I want to send to you guys if... where did that go? Hold on. What is it? Aperture, this one, right? Oh, that's not right. It's this one right here. Yeah. So somebody was asking me how I, or Shrimp Shack Joe Shrimp Shack was asking me how do I take good pictures like on the road and stuff like that. This is the light where it's at. What the... How does that keep happening? There's like some kind of Windows update that like if I move the chat around, it minimizes all the windows like forever. Sorry. That just happens like during the show. Like all the windows go woof and close. And I'm like, what happened? So yeah, that was the link that I was sending to Joe. It's a pretty darn effective light. I understand that it's like $150. There is a cheaper version. That's the old version of that light for taking pictures. Which is this one, but this one is lacking a bunch. What is going on? What is this? Hello? I don't have a school loan, you dirtbag. Yeah, dirty old. Telemarketers trying to get me to change my interest rate on my student loan that I don't have. How about that? Hey man, we want you to change your student loan rate, bro. Huh. Oh man, well that sounds like a great deal. I didn't even ask you to call me, and you guys just called me? Oh, that's great. Yeah. Thanks for calling, bud. I love it when it's like, you get that call where it's like, this call is in regards to your credit card. You know, and you're like, oh, my credit card, what happened? And it's like, your credit card is charging you way too much. And you're like, Okay. And then it's like, we're going to lower your interest rate. What? I don't know. Somebody sold my information. I don't know. I ordered something from somewhere like non-Amazon related. I ordered something from Hong Kong. Actually, it was that camera part, Zion. Because I ordered the pre-order, it came straight from the factory, and is basically the day after I placed that order, I started getting a bunch of non-solicited sales calls. So I'm pretty sure Zion sells your information. So I'd probably, if I was going to order a gimbal from them ever again, I would say put in a fake phone number or something. They definitely sent me exactly what they said they were going to do at the time that they said they were going to do it, and it 100% showed up and all that. But yeah, it's cool to get these phone calls about my interest rate. And speaking of that, as I mentioned earlier, I did break some stuff and had to order some new equipment. And I did actually have to take out a whole new credit line to try and do some production stuff that I want to do in the near future. Because, yeah, might as well just put it on the credit, right? If you're going to try and live your dreams, you might as well just go into debt, right? Is that how that works? I think that's how it works, right? I think if you want to try and live your dreams, you're supposed to go like way into debt, just like the student loan percentage call that I just got. You know, there's a lot of people out there with student loan debts that all they ever wanted to be was a chiropractor. Oh, that's not a good example. They wanted to be a limnologist, right? Or they wanted to be a podiatrist. Or they wanted to be, you know, a music engineer, whatever. So I took out a new line of credit to hopefully try and do some production stuff that I want to do, and it just doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to hit that that number. But I could probably hit that number over some period of months. But I would always like to remind people that, like, here's the crazy thing. So, like, if you guys have noticed, there's a lot of people out there that are doing live streams now. Basically put, so let's see. Let's give credit where credit's due. So, like, Lisa Pets with the €10 super chat is more of a sponsor than YouTube is. Like, you know, so, like, this stream will probably get, like I said earlier, like 1,500, maybe 1,800 views or something like that. That'll work out to about $4, maybe $8, somewhere in between the $4 and $8 mark. So, literally, Lisa's Pet has already funded this show more than YouTube would pay for it. So, but I do have plans for some bigger production stuff. And like I said, I took out a line of credit, and I figured, like, maybe I'll just be able to somehow figure it out and pay it off someday. I don't know. Does that seem like a good idea to you guys? I don't know. It is an idea, and we'll see. Mr. Hepner, is it possible that the same crypts convert at different rates? Yes, 100%. I have seen that happen many, many times, especially from crypts, just because, you know, how sensitive they are. They kind of freak out from time to time. And, you know, sometimes, one of them might melt off because of temperature. Maybe one is going to melt off because, you know, the hardness is a little bit different. Like, crypts are a plant that are very susceptible to melt off. Like, they quickly convert. Now, one of the reasons for that is that the cryptocrine species, most of them come from the shore in areas where it's either going to flood and then the water's going to recede and stuff like that. That's the reason why they convert so quickly, is that they live in a part of the world where their environment is going to change rapidly. So they are adapted to being able to change rapidly to the changing environment. And I just said change like 100 times. So, you know, hopefully that makes sense to you at all. But they have adapted and evolved to be in a situation where they just, if something makes a change in your water, boom, they will go ahead and start adapting to the new water parameters. That's really, and the reason that they melt back is because they're adapting to the new parameters. So they draw back all that energy really quite rapidly and are able to either send out new runners. Even that's one of the things that's kind of interesting. They'll send out new runners as they're sending out new leaves from that melt back, because it's if you think they're going to pull back all that energy, where they're going to put it. Are they going to put it only into just growing just this, or trying to reproduce too also? So oftentimes they'll send out one little runner and you'll see like a bunch of new leaves will pop up over here, and then suddenly a little sprout will pop up over here. You know, obviously I'm way further than it actually is, but like if the plant's here, like, you know, maybe 2.5 inches or something, there'll be like a little pop up that comes out there too, because it's like, you know, what's going to be better for that crypt? Hey, two is going to be better for that crypt. So they're going to try and spread and do that kind of stuff, but they are super susceptible to melt back. So don't stress too much if you see them melting back. It's if you never see them return. That's what I'd stress out, but that's a deal. Let's see. Omar says, just set them and forget them. Don't move them, even in the same tank. They will come back, but will melt if you move them. That is definitely not 100. Well, it's certainly not 100% true. I move crypts and tanks all the time, and they definitely don't melt back. I've heard I heard some people were asking me a while ago, and I don't know where this came from, but people were asking me about, you know, not moving plants, like, you know, that's some kind of big issue with like moving plants around. I constantly trim and move plants. That is going to be one of the best things that you can do in your aquarium. Now, I'm not saying constantly cut them all up and constantly move them all around and all that kind of stuff, but once they start propagating, once they start growing, you know, like the Ludwigia that's in here. Let's turn on the whiteboard here. So this Ludwigia that's all growing right back here, you can see like all the little aerial roots and things that are coming off of it, which means that it's time to trim these. Trim them like right here, replant the tops back down here. Like this whole plant in this region right here is brand new, right? This whole plant is brand new. You guys saw me plant that like a week and a half ago, something like that, 2 weeks ago. I think it was right before Olivia was born, so week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. It's growing in quite nicely, but it will. So let's say right now it's right here at this level. Once it gets to like right here, it's going to be time to trim and replant, you know, so I'm going to be replanting over here, and doing, you know, and trimming that and stuff. You know, one of the big reasons that I say that is that, you know, Tom Barr and I were actually talking about this when we were at his house, is that, you know, many years ago, he and I were having a back and forth internet discussion about, you know, in regards to, you know, when you see like really, really nice display tanks out there and stuff, is that it is more often than not, it's because the plants are being trimmed back. They're replanting the tops and even pulling the root plants out of there. So they're continuing the cycle of the top of the plant being replanted, pulling the big root ball stuff out, planting the tops back down in, and allowing that to be the mainstay plant. Now, crypts are a little bit different in regards to that. Although the Areocalum that's over in this region right here, you can see that this isn't a stem plant. This isn't a stem plant, but like this one right here needs to be divided. This one needs to be divided. Almost every single one in here needs to be divided. It's sending out new growth. And one of the big problems is the stuff needs to be divided because I'm also trapping stuff down here, and it's allowing some of this hair some of this hair algae to grow right down in there near the substrate. And that's mainly because these plants aren't pulling so much that they normally pull, because they haven't been split yet. So it's sort of like, I guess if you look at it this way, like if you had a whole bunch of people living in one room, right? And they're all in there and they're eating, but a bunch of waste is kind of building up and stuff like that. If you let them all out to go run kind of wild in the streets and doing all that stuff, they would be way healthier than everything that's crammed into one spot. So you definitely want to pull stuff, move stuff around, allow things to have enough space. You definitely want to stir the substrate a little bit. That is monumentally helpful in a planted aquarium, moving stuff around. And another reason why I say that a dirted aquarium is not a great idea, because if you are somebody who did a dirted aquarium, you can't really do much of that. You can basically plant the plants in there and then just hope that then you just hope that they are going to grow and spread around, and then you can't move any plants around, you can't replant anything, you can't even really propagate anything, and it's just long term, it's not a great idea, you know, because I'm like, I want to be around my fish tank for a long time. I don't want to be dead, you know, going, oh man, I could have had a nicer looking fish tank, I could have had a healthier ecosystem, you know. Let's see. Fish Ion Tank Ticks. What's up, my guy? How you doing? Twin City says, I love Rummy Nose. I love them Rummy Nose too. I really want to get a bigger school, but I've kind of fallen in love. With a different, I don't even want to say a variant of Rummy Nose, but they're very close to Rummy Nose shape, Rummy Nose attitude, Rummy Nose style, but I think they're just a little better looking. So I'm gonna consider whether or not I can make the purchase of these other fish that I have. These other fish that I've kind of fallen. I've fallen head over heels for some beautiful fish, you guys, and so I might be able to bring those in instead of bringing in more Rummy Nose, because the Rummy Nose are doing fine in here. They are scattering eggs a little bit, but I'm just not seeing any fry from them, and I don't envision myself really taking the time to like independently breed them in like, you know, their individualized tanks and stuff like that. Like I don't see that happening. So I think I'm just going to enjoy the school and let it kind of like run its course and just do its thing from there. So I was thinking like, man, if I could just keep adding and adding and adding to get to like 1,000 Rummy Nose in here, that would be amazing. But personally, I kind of fell in love with a different fish, so I'm gonna go that route instead. Which, once again, is just, I can't spoil it, because if I spoil it, then you guys would be like, I already knew that was going to happen, and now I'm bored. Which, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's the exciting part right now. Like Ramosa is asking, which planted substrate is best bang for your buck? Fluval Stratum, Eco Complete, or Fluorite? I would say if you were hamstrung to only getting one substrate and what is the best bang for your buck, 100%. Let me see here. I wonder if it's on sale again. It was on sale the other day. So this is 2. Yeah, here we go. All right. Copy that. Paste it to that. Boom. Is 100% the Fluval Stratum. There's an Amazon link right there. So that's 2 of the big bags for like $71 and free shipping, dude. So the best bang for your buck is right there. And one of the big reasons I say that is that Fluval Stratum I find to be a phenomenal long-term substrate. It works great at the beginning. It works great a couple years down the road. It's not dirty. It has great, you know, cation exchange capacity, which means it's going to pull in nutrients and exchange nutrients to the plants. Does that. Does buffer the water down a little bit. It will drop your pH just a bit, but I wouldn't be too stressed out about it because it only lasts, you know, the first month it's kind of significant, and then it kind of balances out after that. But that's definitely the best bang for your buck, because you're really looking at like $71. But each one of those bags is like 2 bags of it's like 2 bags of other branded substrates, whether it be fluorite or EcoComplete. So you're really, you know, it's one of those things. Like, so if you get a $20 bag of EcoComplete, it's like, oh, that's not bad, right? But you're gonna need 4. So where it's 2 bags of stratum, you're gonna need 4 of those. So let's do some quick math here. A $20 bag of EcoComplete, right? And then, so let's divide 71. Well, let's do the easy math here, you guys. $20 bag of EcoComplete, and we need 4 of those. That's going to be $80, right? And this is only $72, free shipping, all that. That's the route I would go. And you're definitely going to be able to grow a lot more. I'm not saying that EcoComplete and fluorite don't have their uses, because I 100% use those also. I normally use a full majority of Fluval stratum. So if you were to only order one thing, yeah, I would definitely just get stratum if I was going to go with just one thing, and what would be the best bang for the buck. Twin Cities says, so for cleaning your, do you recommend a soft, medium, or hard toothbrush? 100%. If you can find hard bristle toothbrush, that is the best. The soft ones aren't that great. Medium, maybe, but you can never find medium. I can occasionally find the hard bristle ones, but that's the ones you want. You want the stiff, hard, firm, whatever you want to call it. Is definitely what you want, for sure, 100%. And yes, I have thought about that, and yes, I do have an honest response of, yes, this is what you want. Tank Tested says, agree, Fluval stratum is a solid product, and there's more per bag in terms of volume compared to the other options. Yep, I have a video that shows you the actual volume comparison of the two. Actually open the bags, put them into the exact same container, and show you exactly how much volume is in each one. So where people get concerned or confused or concerned or whatever is that they look at the weight. They're just looking at the weight, and the volume and the weight are 2 completely different things. So definitely got to look into that for sure. Twin Cities says, what you gonna do with the rummy noses? I probably will, as I mentioned earlier, I'll probably just let the school run its course. If they do actually successfully breed, then there'll be more of them. But I don't think I'm going to be like purchasing more and adding them in, if that makes sense. It's not a recent discovered fish, but the fish that I personally got to, I got to see him in person and just see like, oh man. And so, as you guys know, I wanted to do Celestial Pearl Danios, right? Celestial Pearl Danios, big time problem to try and source enough of them. So if I did like a tiny nano tank or something like that, it wouldn't be a big deal, because I would just order up like 20, 25, maybe 30 of them. Not a big deal. But if we're talking about, even a 120-gallon tank, you're probably going to need 200 of them in there. And not only is that kind of cost prohibitive, I mean, you start thinking $3, $4 a fish, something like that. You're like, oh my God. And then on top of it, the wholesalers just don't even get them in that numbers. In those numbers to be able to do, to be able to really send out that many, because they're like, oh, we want you to just order 20 of them, So availability is also an issue with those. So I really want to do the Celestial Pearl Danios, but I found a fish that I think is kind of the perfect happy medium between the two. So that I'm going to be happy long term. And I can actually get them, you know what I mean? So, we'll see how that goes. If I can maybe win Aquarium Co-op, this little contest we got. It's actually just a contest of friends. It's a friendly handshake contest. There's no money on the line or anything like that. But if I can get the most number of sales, then I could be like, I'm the champion. And then I could be like, I'm just going to order those fish because I'm the champ. You know what I mean? Like when you're walking around wearing a proverbial medal around your neck or like a belt, you know what I mean? You could be like the belt holder. Then you're just like, hey, I'm going to do cooler projects because you're feeling pretty good about yourself, right? So you just do it. And then you don't worry about the consequences because you just live for now, right? Trevor Crawford says, how about them cherries, bro? I remember you saying you wanted to switch shrimps. Actually, one of the 120-gallon aquariums is going to be dedicated to shrimp, you know. So that's where those shrimp are really going to come in. I think what I'm going to do with the fish that I found, they're probably going to go into the 150. The fish that I'm pretty excited about, they're going to go into the 150, and there'll be just a beautiful school in there, and super happy with, and I'll be super happy with that. Mainly because I could never really find the guppies that I really wanted to go into. To go into the 150. They just don't, it doesn't seem like anybody has them. I definitely saw them in Europe, but I haven't seen them anywhere, and no one really even has them listed. You know what I mean? So I haven't been able to find the guppies that I really wanted to put in there, and I think I'll probably just end up rehoming the female guppy. And somebody was asking about that earlier, about rehoming fish. And the first thing I would do, I mean, I have one female guppy, so I will probably just find somebody who has guppies, right? And get the one fish, right? And get the one fish rehomed. It's not going to be a huge ordeal for me. But let's say you had this big school of rummy nose tetras, right? And you wanted to rehome them. So first things first, I would call my local fish store. My local fish store, whoever it is, and be like, hey, I've got these fish. I've got however many of them you got. Let's say you have 40. And you go, I've got 40 of this fish. I would, I'd like to sell them to you. You know, that's the first thing that I would do, is I would be like, hey, are you looking to buy this fish? Because these are, locally cared for from, local fish tanks, from local water. I've had them for a long time. They're quite healthy, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Hey, would you like to buy them? Normally, a good local fish store would be like, boom, local fish. I will buy them every time. So maybe you would only get 50 cents or 70 cents or something like that a fish. But first things first, you know that they're going to get taken care of. You know that they're going to go to the homes where people are going to want to buy them, right? And you might be able to recoup a little bit of your cost. So it's kind of a win-win-win all around. The other thing I would do, if that didn't work out, I would 100% go to like Facebook. I wouldn't go to Craigslist. Craigslist has always been a dumpster fire for selling stuff for me. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that could relate. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that could probably relate to dealing with Craigslist situation. Is just a nightmare, and it's almost always problematic. But, the Facebook fish groups, like local fish groups and stuff like that, has always worked out really well. To locate some normal, I say normal, I meant to say local, to find some normal local people that you'd be able to, pass the fish on to. Maybe you could just rehome them. Maybe you could, you might be able to write up like, hey, I got a rehoming fee, to kind of keep the creeps away or something. I don't know, but I would almost always go with local fish store. And, some people out there have mentioned to me in the past that they're like, I don't have a local fish store, or my local fish store sucks, blah, 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 and I'm like, I think even if it was terrible, I would still try to build a relationship with them so that, like, maybe you could be somebody that would help maybe influence some changes in the store if it was a problem. Like if you're you know, if you were a customer that was a really, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe if you were just like really personable or whatever, you could like, you know, give them advice of something that you're looking for or something that you're not looking for. So I would definitely be focusing on building a relationship somehow with your local store and see if you could do that. But, you know, Priscilla, what's up, Priscilla? How you doing? Everyone that's not into fishies can't be normal people. Rogue Aquariums is here. What's up, Darren? How you doing, brother? Yeah, Darren and I got to get together fairly soon. Jake is asking, anyone have any experience with black sharks? Mine seems to be latching onto the side of the giant gourami, causing it some stress. That has been my experience when I dealt with them at the stores, and that almost was always going on. Honestly, it was almost always a nightmare having to move fish around from the black sharks and stuff. So, yeah, that is normal. It's not good. It's not a beneficial thing, but it is pretty normal behavior. So I wouldn't expect any kind of change out of them. Fish Nerd says, found a good wife purse. Left my husband money at home. I have no idea what that means. And I just read it out loud. Trevor Crawford, I'd probably be me just turning them in for free. I mean, if you have good, healthy fish, I would sell them, you know, to the store. I'd be like, I wouldn't approach it to be like, hey, take my fish for free. You know, I wouldn't approach it that way. Worst case scenario, they're like, we'll only take them for free. But I would say I have some fish for sale, and I would like to rehouse them, bring them in. Jake is asking, is it eating slime coat, biting it, or anything that may cause other fish harm? Well, typically, they're essentially like removing slime coat. That's what they're going for. Slime coat's like an easy meal. It's got a lot of, what's the word? Biofilm. You know, which biofilm essentially just has like a lot of biological material and stuff in it that's really easy to digest from shrimp all the way up. If anything gets a chance to eat it, they'll kind of go for it. And one of the downside is that leads to a lot of opportunity for infections and stuff like that in big fish. And if you've ever dealt with infections in big fish, nightmare. There's just the only way that I could describe it is just nightmare. And yeah, I would do what I could do to avoid that nightmare, because that is stress city. And I don't know that, man, I could see why vets are like, man, we don't take fish. We just don't do that, because it's super stressful and hard to figure out. Nebraska SCHC. Got some new plants from the coop. Anything special to know about Tiger Lotus? Oh, one of the things I really like about Tiger Lotus is obviously it's bright red. But let me activate the whiteboard here. So you guys, a lot of people have asked me what's the substrate in here, in this aquarium right here. You will notice that it does have this kind of reddish color to it. Like there's a lot of little red rocks and stuff down in there. A lot of that is actually the red fluorite. And one of the big reasons for that is that it will slowly add a little bit of iron to the water and allow those kind of red plants to use a little bit of extra iron. And that's one way to do the Tiger Lotus. The other way to do the Tiger Lotus is dose a little bit of iron, because you know you're actually getting it in there. And iron is basically the one thing that is in my water source. So as you guys know, I have pretty much RO water here that just comes out of the tap. And but iron is the one thing that is actually in the water here. So if I do water changes, that does help replenish a little bit of that iron that has been pulled away by the plants. So it's really not that difficult or really necessary in this tank for me to add a little bit of iron. I know Aquarium Co-op actually has some of the easy iron now that accompanies the easy green. And I really haven't had a big use for it until I got some plants just a little while ago that are going to need some easy iron. So I'll probably make a little video about that coming up fairly soon to, just give you guys like a real breakdown on it and let you guys know what's up. All right, we're getting up here to the end of the show. It's almost the end of the show because I got to go. I got a baby, you guys. I got a baby daughter, and Victoria is here, and my baby daughter is here, so we'll probably just go an hour and a half today. Got about 3 minutes left, so let's see if we can do the quick fire bonus round here at the end. Trevor Crawford, the only reason I'm considering getting rid of my fish is because they eat plants. Oh, that's probably the number one reason I'd ever get rid of a fish, that's for sure. So I can't blame you on that one. Alyssa Bentley, I am considering dropping off about 100 large, ugly-colored mystery snails to feed a certain giant celebrity puffer fish I'm familiar with. Well, save a couple of those for me, because I got little puffers. Alyssa, I need to get some snails from you. It's even more important now than before, than when we were talking before. Fish Eye and Tactics saw a plant called a purple waffle. It was amazing. Purple waffle is a terrestrial plant. So if you do buy that plant at Petco or PetSmart or whoever's selling it, go ahead and put that in a pot and put it up on the shelf over there. Do not put it in your fish tank. Jamie McDonald, how about a special guest appearance by baby Olivia? That will happen at some point in time, but it will be a filmed segment. She won't just be busting in here. Vicky won't just be running in here with the baby. Well, she might, because the changing table is right there. So she might bust in there. That's why I have this painting is like in a weird spot now. So in case Vicky needs to run in and change the baby, she'll just be back behind there and then can come out and say hi. Jeff Rose, how long till we get an Olivia-themed princess planted tank? It'll be a long, long time for that because she will have to request a specific tank, and she don't speak yet. So she does make some good she does make some good noises, but not very communicative at this point. Just crying, and then I have to figure it out. The Fish Nerd, would you like that I should send you some Malaysian trumpet snails? I'm always happy to receive Malaysian trumpet snails. They're one of my favorite snails of all time. And if anybody has them, then hell yeah. Jamie McDonald says, don't trust her not to swear or something. It's not her swearing. It's that she might just be crying and not really want to have a camera in her face. Yeah, or sleeping and be like, but we will get there. Don't worry. I'm not gonna, I have posted some pictures of her on Facebook, and I'm not sure if I have on Instagram or anything like that, but I definitely posted a picture of her on the Patreon. So I want to say a special thank you because we got 2 brand new Patreonizers, Oceaneers, whatever you want to call them. Meet Valerie Van Zyl coming in, a brand new patronization, and Justin Woody. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. Brand new to the squad. The Notification Squad Fam Army, whatever, weird fam army fam. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, I think Candy's confused between the purple waffle and something else. So I wouldn't. Yeah, see, Nebraska said I thought I was getting trolled. Mistook purple waffle with the aquamarine waffle. Yes, there is a Petco PetSmart plant that is labeled as purple waffle. So I forget the scientific name for it, but just remember that it is a terrestrial plant that they have thrown in there. And I think one of the big things is that they refuse to put the scientific name on it, because if you could look it up, you would know, oh, wait a minute, that's actually a potted plant that's supposed to be in dirt, like up on the, like I said, in a pot somewhere, so it's not supposed to be there. So I think people were getting a little bit confused. So sorry about you guys' comments getting deleted. Don't worry about that. Don't worry, for posterity's sake, we'll all just have a laugh about it later. All right, I want to say thanks to everybody for coming out. Extra thanks to Brennan's Life, Ginger Graves, and Lisa Pets for your super chats today. Valerie, thank you, and Justin Woody, thank you. I want to say thanks to all the moderators, because I always forget to say thank you to the moderators, like Steve and Candy and Nisi and CNH and Joel Gillett and Alyssa Bentley and all you guys. I want to say thanks to everybody for coming out and chatting and hitting the like button and all that stuff. And I got to go change my baby diaper, so I'm going to holler at you all later.